Hi, I'm here with Kelley Seaton from the Leasing Network today. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Mike, for having me.
It's a pleasure, and it's also a pleasure to be here at Lexus in the Central Coast, and we're going to do a little side video on that. But we're in the Central Coast, and I wanted to ask you about, as an expert, a property manager that focuses on the Central Coast, what's happening in the market at the moment? How tight is the supply of rental properties, and does it sort of follow the Sydney market a little bit? Because we're only sort of an hour up the road. What's going on?
Yeah, I think the Central Coast market's really quite tight at the moment. So we have 0 vacancy, which isn't good.
Right.
We've got a lot of tenants looking. We've got a database of tenants and prospective tenants with what they're chasing. So we're heavily focusing on that at the moment. So the market's really tight. It's just great for landlords because obviously you can achieve a great rental yield and you've got less vacancy in between tenants and so on. So it's really good. We are finding that we would have a tenant move out, and then before that tenant's moved out, we've got a new tenant lined up.
Right.
So there literally is a 2-day turnaround in between the first tenant and the next tenant moving in. Yeah, it's really good. I think in relation to Sydney, we are only an hour drive or train trip, so it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
I liken that we're probably the North Shore of Sydney now,
right,
given that the travel's quite fast.
Yes, yeah.
And so people are travelling to there, working there, spending the weekend lifestyle here.
Yeah.
It's an amazing place to be.
And why is the market so tight? Is there a lack of new housing coming on, or why is the demand so strong for rental properties? I mean, you said the low vacancy is a bad thing. I'm sort of thinking from the investor point, it's like fantastic, right? But then if you are looking for rental accommodation, you're going to be struggling. What's going on with that?
I think it is fantastic for the landlord, don't get me wrong. It's amazing for them, but it's hard for the tenants that are looking. So those people that can't buy or get into the market of the sales side of things are struggling.
Yeah.
They're building quite a few developments in the area. So a little bit further north of here, we've got the Wyong exit, and then we've got Sparks Road exit, which goes out towards Wadalba, Woongarra, Hamlin Terrace and whatnot. So those areas are still developing quite a lot.
Yeah.
So there's certainly things coming on, but it just depends. The Central Coast is quite large. So in majority, other than Gosford, and that northern area, most of the Central Coast is already established, and there's not a lot of new development happening.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that's probably a factor to why. Yeah.
Well, if you are looking for an investment property in the Central Coast, obviously the time's pretty good now to lease it out.
Absolutely.
If you're looking for rental accommodation, unfortunately it's joining the queue, I guess, at the moment.
Yeah, it is. But certainly a great time for any properties for us to be able to lease for our clients. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, check out Kelley, the Leasing Network. We'll share some details. But thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you so much.